Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel and to another powerful twin flame teaching. Today, I'm bringing you a message that will completely change how you understand your journey, whether you're in union, separation, the bubble phase. I have no idea which stage you are in anymore, and that's a beautiful stage too. You've probably asked 1,000 questions about this connection. Why did he leave? When will he return? Is this even real? Why? But today, I want to flip the script. Because the real question isn't about what he's doing. The real question is who you are becoming in every single stage. This journey is not about getting love, it's about evolving into love. It's about remembering love. And every single phase, yes, even the painful ones, was designed to activate your becoming. So that's why in today's discourse, we are going to go deep into the 7 evolutionary phases of the twin flame journey. Why separation is a soul strategy and not a punishment. How to recognize growth even in psychic chaos. The power of the third energy, not just in union, but in every stage. And what it actually means to stabilize your field. So, grab, a glass of crystal water or your favorite beverage, take a deep breath, and let's get right into today's discourse. All right. You see, the thing is, this is the key misunderstanding that keeps so many of us divine feminine stuck in the loop, right? The truth is, our twin flame journey isn't a relationship timeline. It's a soul evolution timeline. And each stage is not a test of our divine masculine, our beloved divine masculine's love. It's a trigger for our growth. So let's begin with part 1, the awakening stage, when our whole life collapses. So when we meet our monadic divine masculine, the meeting itself is coded with chaos and light, right? Even if it felt calm, even if it felt like a coming of home feeling, the meeting creates a cellular memory reset and activation, right? Suddenly, our whole life starts to fall apart. We are no longer content in our career, in our life, in anything we do. We outgrow friendships. That's the biggest thing that happens to all of us, like we outgrow friendships because those friends don't resonate, especially when you're looking at all the 3D notions of life. When you're looking at 3D relationships, you outgrow friendships. You can't tolerate superficialness anymore. You're craving authenticity. You start seeking something very, very deep. And this is not a mistake, this is not random. This is the disruption stage of your evolution, your soul's first yes to your divine self. You see, the biggest mistake most wounded feminines make at this stage is trying to hold on to the old life. You see, change is the only thing that we cannot change. And that has to sink in because we can never hold on to our old life. Because at this stage, our soul would not allow it anymore. Because our divine masculine didn't come to complete our old identity, he came to end it. And that is the reason why, after the bubble phase, everything starts to collapse. Everything. Your perspective on life, your perspective on your career, your perspective on your family life, everything will shift. Some of us divine feminines might, you might be thinking about changing careers or doubling up on your career or completely going in or changing how you approach your present career. For example, if you have been practicing your career the 3D way, after our divine masculine comes in, it becomes 5D, it becomes 6D, it becomes planetary work. Through the 3D work we do, the 3D transforms to 6D and beyond. So it could just be any job, be it teaching, being a doctor, being any kind of job. You're going to transform. From the way you practice in 3D, you are transforming it into a multi-dimensional career, and every career can be transformed. And that's exactly what our divine masculine is doing in stage 1. All right. And then stage 2. Again, before I go to stage 2, I wanted to talk about the bubble phase. The bubble phase is also meant to be there. If not, we will never accept this connection. If we don't go through that level of intimacy, and I'm not talking about 3D intimacy, I'm talking about multi-dimensional intimacy, just being together, feeling each other even in a distance, just being together and then being apart. That stage, that bubble phase is when you're like spending countless amounts of time together. Every weekend is at your place, every single day you're talking to each other, you are just like two peas in a pod. That's what we become in the bubble phase, right? We don't know, we don't think. You see, the beauty of the bubble phase is we don't spend too much thinking, we just go with the flow. And then within a couple of weeks, the logical mind comes in. And as divine feminines and divine masculines, we start mirroring one another. Our DM starts to pull away. And then our body goes into shock. Our nervous system collapses. We are wondering, why is my DM pulling? Why is my divine husband pulling away? He was literally here cancelling off on friends. He was like with me all the time. And suddenly he doesn't like me. Suddenly he's saying he's not interested in me. Suddenly he is rejecting me. And that's when our whole life starts to collapse. Our whole definition of love starts to collapse. Everything collapses. And that brings us to the separation stage, the fire of evolution, as I would love to call it. Separation isn't punishment, it's preparation. We all know that. It's initiation. We all know that. It's the stage that says, can you still love yourself when the one who activated you disappears? And it's very true for all of us, isn't it? Our DM comes in, he exchanges all the codes with us, and then he disappears. And sometimes he disappears for days, weeks, months, or even years. But the question is, in this stage, can you still love your divine masculine? Can we still love our divine masculine when we are not being chosen in the 3D? And the question leads to, can we love ourselves when we feel most unlovable? And this stage pushes us into the shadow initiation. We confront abandonment wounds. We face codependency. We outgrow the savior-victim dynamic. We discover our real power is not getting our divine masculine back, but getting ourselves back. And every meltdown here is the fuel for our own soul alchemy. Without this phase, we stay asleep in the romantic illusion, and this is the performing stage, right? Stage 1 and stage 2 is the performing stage, right? This is the stage many wounded feminines never cross. And then comes stage 3, the psychic stage, evolving through invisible contact. So that's the thing, right? Even in separation, the journey doesn't pause. In fact, the real work starts here. We begin to receive dreams with messages, 5D visits that defy logic, astral, multidimensional intimacy that feels more real than physical touch. Truly, it's like our twin flame journey redefines everything about 3D love, in so many ways. Like, really, again, I can't go deeper than this because community standards. So I got to be careful on when I, talk about intimacy itself. But you know what I mean. It's like waking up to your divine masculine, his 5D form next to you, but it feels like his 3D form. Sometimes you feel like you're being hugged or you feel like being touched, and that's real because it is your DMs. astral self projecting to you emotional waves that clearly aren't yours. And this is not fantasy, guys. Please let me be very, very clear. This is not fantasy. This is frequency. This is frequency. This is the point we are learning to tune into soul communication, not surface level behavior. And most of our growth happens here. And that's why I want to emphasize this stage. Most of our growth happens here. We refine discernment. We learn how to energetically detach. And here we master how to co-regulate the shared third energy, combined energy field with our divine masculine. Remember, we don't evolve just by physical events. We evolve by what we do with the invisible energy field between us, between you and your divine masculine. Which brings us to stage 4. This is the detachment stage. The rebirth of us, the divine feminine, the goddess self, right? Eventually, we stop chasing. Not out of pride, but because our field matures. We enter a stage where we stop checking his status. We stop checking. And you know why? That's why I always say getting blocked is a blessing in disguise. Then you can't check his status. But having said that, you will have your ways, right? In stage 1, 2, and 3. Anyway, at stage 4, you stop checking his social media. You don't ask mutual friends or mutual connection what he's up to. You stop asking why also. And this is the stage, we totally stop checking any of our divine masculine social media presence. We stop asking why. We stop trying to convince the universe. We stop playing energetic hide and seek. This is when we become the empowering, awakening divine feminine. All right, we anchor, we lead, we embody, and it's no longer about our divine masculine. It's about our relationship with God, us and our mission. It's you and your mission. It is yourself and God, yourself and your mission, yourself and your peace. That's what becomes, and that peace begins to reconfigure the entire union timeline. And this is when our divine masculine feels the shift most, because we are no longer leaking. We are living. Which brings us to stage 5, the reconnection stage. All right, you're probably waiting for this point, right? Many of you guys are probably waiting for this point. This is mirroring evolution, not the wound. When reconnection happens, whether it's a text, a dream, a meeting, or a full physical union, it's not because you have worked hard enough. Really, you got to get rid of that mindset. That's a very 3D mindset, all right? You got to remember, it's because your field has become stable enough. Our field becomes stable enough. Our field becomes stable enough. I wanted to emphasize on it. That's why. This stage invites us to hold our frequency while facing our divine masculine sphere. We speak from alignment, not trauma. We choose connection, not collapse. We respond as the evolving self, not the past versions of ourselves. That's the reason why reunion is not the reward. The reward itself is who we are becoming when our divine masculine wasn't there. And then part 6, the final stage, co-creation from union field. And this is a sacred stage. It's rarely spoken about. I guess I can only talk from my own experience and from the thousands of clients I've been working with in the last decade, right? So once both of you stabilize your fields, whether together or apart, once we stabilize our fields, whether together or apart, the stabilizing begins in some cases even before union. That's why to each we have our own experience. Our third energy begins to build worlds. Literally, our third energy begins to build worlds. Really, worlds. I'm talking about worlds, guys. We are not just together now, we are in service. That's when we begin channeling light codes, innovations, planetary healing, star seed activations, new relationship templates, like what my DM and I are doing, soul businesses, sacred offerings, anything that is going to uplift humanity and uplift the galaxies. All right? That's why union doesn't start the third energy, it amplifies it. The third energy is always around. And then part 7, the final stage, the third energy. You see, I don't want to say final stage, because I say stabilizing union is always the beginning, right? So stage 7, the third energy is always present, not just in union. One of the biggest misunderstandings on this journey is the belief that the third energy, that the alchemical field between you and your divine masculine only activates during union or physical closeness. No. In my case, it activated way before, because I was also having clients when I was in separation. I started my work during the bubble phase itself, when my DM was with me. And then I didn't stop. Of course, I felt. But the physical union truly happened when I totally surrendered. The stages. You see, again, I'm writing these stages from my own experience, guys. That's why I'm saying it's not about activating during union or during the bubble phase. No, the truth is the third energy is there from the very first spark. From the point, when we are birthed in the cosmic egg, in the 13th dimension. All right? The third energy is there from the very first spark, and it doesn't leave even during the worst galactic separations we might have experienced. Whether we are in the bubble phase, the silent stage, the reconnection, or deep physical stable union, our shared third energy is always active and intelligent. And this is not a theory, it is an energetic fact. I'm speaking from experience. And if you tune into it, it will show you that it's always been your soul's mirror and mentor. So, I wanted to quickly talk about the bubble phase, the separation phase, the 0 point, and the physical union phase, all right? So, the bubble phase is the activation of sacred charge. In the beginning, your field ignites, you may feel like you're high, you are happy, you're multi-dimensional, like time dissolved, the coming of home feeling, everything flows. Our divine masculine is literally meeting us every moment he gets. But what's really happening is that the third energy is imprinting our body with memory. That's why so many exchanges are happening. Sometimes even nothing happens, just the present in itself, we're exchanging codes. That's what I mean, the third energy is imprinting our body with memory of what it's like to live in divine coherence. And this isn't romance, it's a field calibration. You're not just falling in love, you're falling into your original blueprint. And then the separation phase comes, the evolution through polarity, when our divine masculine pulls away, when our beloved divine masculine pulls away. Or when you both crash. Most assume the third energy is offline. It's never offline, guys. It's spiritual intelligence. How can it be ever offline? Because it's not. It's just operating in shadow mode. And this is the phase where it becomes your toughest teacher. This is the phase, like truly, where it becomes your toughest teacher. It will show you your patterns until you stop bypassing. It will push your nervous system into collapse until you learn regulation. It will reflect our fears so we can transmute them. And it will remove our divine masculine from our reality until we stop needing him to be whole. Remember, the third energy isn't gone. It's educating our field through the contrast of absence. And then comes the zero point, the cradle of internal union. Eventually, the energy between you doesn't feel like romance or rejection. It feels like stillness. And this is the zero point stage, where the third energy begins to mirror your inner union, not your trauma loops. You may start creating, you may start leading, you may start doing wonderful work in the careers you are in. This is when you start getting career recognition in any field you are, not because our divine masculine is back, but because we are plugged back into our half of the field. And this is where most divine feminines don't realize they're already co-creating union without. This is the part where most of us divine feminines don't realize we are already co-creating union without our divine masculine physically present. And that leads us to the physical union, in the amplification of the shared mission. By the time union comes, the third energy is no longer healing us, it's moving through us. It's not just an energetic teacher, it's a mission field. And that's when, like I said, we start doing great work, galactic service, earth-based love in action, because union doesn't start the third energy. It lets it lead you into the next octave. That's why the third energy is the real relationship. You think the relationship is with your divine masculine, but it's not. It's always been with the third energy, that energy between both you and your divine masculine. That energy, the first time we got split, that divine intelligence, that is the field, that is the power, that is God, the universe, cosmic consciousness. And it's very unique between us and our divine masculine, right? That's why our relationship is, the third energy is like the glue that keeps us together. It's like the red thread that connects us no matter how far we go, right? The third energy is the sacred intelligence, the amniotic fluid in the monadic egg, the cosmic egg that I'm talking about, right? The field our souls generate when both of us show up to our truest self. That field teaches us, triggers us, heals us, initiates us, and eventually unites us with our divine masculine. So remember, if you remember nothing else, if you forget everything else from this discourse, remember this: the third energy is always here. It's not waiting for union. It's not blocked by separation. It's not delayed by your pain. It's moving, it's guiding, and it's evolving you. Because you are exactly doing what you're meant to do. And the combined energy field, the third energy, is always there guiding us. So if you have made it to the end of this discourse, I just want to say this: your journey isn't failing, it's unfolding. And if you can shift your gaze from what's happening in the 3D to what's happening in your field, you will see you've never been alone. Our third energy is always active. Evolution is still happening. And our love story, the one our soul came here to live, is still sacred, no matter what it looks right now. So remember that. It's very important. So wherever you are on your path, waiting, rebuilding, detached, reunited, trust that every single phase is a sacred curriculum. You were never meant to stay the same. You were meant to become, and that's why change is the only thing you can't change. That's why if this teaching resonates with you, you know what to do. And if you guys want to work one-on-one with me, you can book a session in the description using the link in the description provided, and all my sessions are conducted one-on-one via live video call, so you can ask me as many questions as you want during our session. All right, so tell me, what stage are you in right now, and what is it teaching you? Remember, every stage is very beautiful, guys. We all go through these stages, and let's grow together. Always, always evolving as sacred divine feminines, always. And again, guys, remember, everything happens for a reason. So really, if you guys are ready for personal guidance, soul clarity, or you want to go deeper into your mission, or you want to understand which stage you're really in, or whether you are on a twin flame journey or not, book the first time twin flame psychic session with me in the link provided. All right, thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up for your journey, and remember, you're always evolving, even when you thought you were just waiting. Until next time, stay anchored in your truth, and I'll see you all again in the next video, guys. I know the thing about the journey is that every stage is beautiful, and we got to honor it, every stage. And that's the thing, it's infinity. There's no end or beginning. All right, see you all again with another discourse. Bye bye.